Happy Monday, BFH. This is Ashley Cox-Coates, your senior advisor, and I'm here with our interpreter, Sylvie Sullivan, and we will be leading today's Monday message. Happy Monday. And as it relates to our operational context, we just wanted to talk to you all about the BFH legislative tasks that are currently underway. The 2026 legislative implementation, we are in full swing of completing the tasks that have been assigned to us for the 2026 legislative session. However, we wanted to provide some notes for everyone to be reminded about. So we want to ensure that all of our requirements for BFH, deadlines, and responsible leads are adhered to, and they are paying attention to the things that are needed as it relates to the tracking of implementation and the statuses that are required of us. We also want to ensure that if there is any funding or policy or rulemaking or operational needs that are needed for the implementation task, we want to ensure that those things are acknowledged now rather than later. Most bills are implemented by August 1st, and we are well into the month of August, but there are some intricate details that we have to pay attention to. So we want to ensure that those tasks are completed as provided within the legislation. We also want to ensure that any communications or issues with completing a task is communicated to the legislative lead, which is yours truly currently. So I am an open door. I respond to email pretty swiftly if we don't have a mass of things happening within Amy and myself's purview. But we also want to make sure that we keep a regular discussion going between the leads, the team leads, and myself to ensure that all the tasks are completed. Also, if you do have issues that may be concerning or create barriers, please ensure that you are sharing that with your managers or your team leads or your team members, but also that those are elevated up to myself or to Amy, so we can get a handle on them ourselves. So those are the key items that I would like to acknowledge for the 2026 legislative implementation. Now on to 2027. I know we just finished session in June and we are just getting used to our task and implementation, but OPH has now called for 2027 legislative proposals. An email was shared with team leads on, I believe, Tuesday of this week, well, which is last week, because today's Monday, to talk about what is actually needed for those proposals. And we want to ensure that everything that is required of us and has been required of the BFH is included. So we want to ensure that we identify the need for statutory changes or any program changes. We also want to ensure that those purposes are defined. If there will be significant impact or implementation requirements, we want to ensure that those things are also detailed. We also want to you all already know what the key element for any proposal as it relates to legislation is. And that is if it has a fiscal impact. So if money is tied to it, if it would cost the agency more money to implement such a task, those things need to be clearly identified. A source of funding needs to be present, and we need to say how it can happen or how it cannot happen and what will happen if it does not occur. So I hope that that makes sense for everybody. Also, we want to ensure that those proposals are coordinated with the appropriate partners and subject matter experts. Here, we all have our own elements of what we do and how we provide service to the citizens of this great state. So we want to ensure that when you're thinking of legislative proposals, that you are also thinking about those external partners, but also ensuring that our internal partners, other agencies, other programs are also included in those proposals as well. We also want to ensure that the proposals are prepared at a high level. These will be directly shared with our OPH and LDH leadership. So we want to ensure that they are well written, that they are well defined, and easy to understand. So those are the highlights of this current legislative moment. I call it within the BFH. We are fully in the swing of completing implementation tasks and preparing, which is so crazy to think. We are preparing for the upcoming session, which is also considered a fiscal session. So it is going to be very interesting come 2027. Again, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me directly. You have my email, ashley.coates@la.gov, and I will be happy to assist. I hope you all have an amazing Monday and a great week is ahead of us all. Thanks.